Welcome back to CTV Morning Live. It's now time for Ask the Expert segment with Brenda Hollingsworth from Auger Hollingsworth. Give us a call, 789-6559, extension 2803. You can always ask us the questions via email, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, or on Twitter, as well as on Facebook. We are really focusing this one on the time of year that we are seeing. We are into summer activities, summer sports, heading to the cottage, heading to the amusement parks, and so this is it's a different time of year for you and into the type of cases that you're seeing come through.
Yeah, there are lots of different types of accidents. I mean, motor vehicle accidents are year-round, but there are some things that only happen in the summer in Ontario, like boating accidents, like swimming pool accidents, and amusement park accidents. Okay. So that's sort of three different things that we can talk about today.
Let's start with the cottage or the boats or heading out on a boat. And so there's different things that people need to be very aware of if they own the boat, if they're on the boat, if they have the cottage that has the boat. Right. And you need to keep things in mind.
Right. So if you own a boat, you have the same responsibility as if you own a motor vehicle. So number one, make sure you have liability insurance. A lot of people are under the impression that if you have insurance on your cottage, it covers your boat. Well, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It depends on your policy. It depends on the type of boat that you have. A lot of cottage policies cover small boats, but not ski boats. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to find that out after the fact. So if you have a boat and you're not positive that you have liability insurance, you want to make that phone call because boating accidents, they aren't as common as car accidents, but when they happen, they are often very serious.
It's something that I think we're just considering making sure everyone has their life jacket on, so if something happens that you're protected when you're in the water. But there are things that happen actually within the boat, and people go flying, and things happen that you don't necessarily consider.
Absolutely. My husband, Richard Auger, just finished a case where a boat at night actually drove into the wall of a bridge. Dark lake, somebody unfamiliar with the lake, probably not proper lighting on the boat, and you don't expect that, but think of, probably not going to run into a bridge most of the time, but think about rafts, right? The floating rafts, you could easily run into those, and it could cause problems. And boating collisions do happen. One of the earliest cases I was involved in was a boating collision fatality. One lady died and one person suffered a very, very serious traumatic brain injury. So bad things happen.
So you need to keep that in mind, and especially those who have ownership of the boat, make sure that you have the proper insurance and liability insurance that's involved with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because we're all looking to go and have fun, and we tend to not be in that mental, the reminders maybe that you really need to be on the lookout because we're just looking for this free feeling summer activity.
That's right. You should actually put on your checklist when you're opening your cottage back in May, like check insurance. You want to make sure you have cottage insurance too, for that matter. But the boating insurance is really important. Make sure your boat's in good working order. Make sure you have the lights you're supposed to have. Make sure you know how to work them, because when it's twilight and you're pressing the buttons, that's not really the time to figure out how to put that green and red light on.
Okay. The amusement parks, that's also, we've seen it right now. We are seeing it in the headlines with what's happening with Calypso. But aside from Calypso, there's a variety of different midways, heading on vacation, heading to any of the major attractions that you're seeing some incidents.
Yeah, absolutely. So the water parks are one thing, but amusement parks, another, go-karting, all of the kinds of things that are fun to do in the summer also have risk. As users of those facilities, you assume some degree of risk, but the operators also have to make sure that they're operating them safely and in the manner that would be expected, meet the standard of care.
So are we looking right now for the client to be very aware of maybe the forms that they're signing when they're saying at your own risk? What should we be considering then?
Well, you want to make sure that you've got your eyes open. Have a look at the ride before you actually go on it. Make sure that if your gut tells you that thing doesn't look safe, don't go on it, because, there's a story in the news about a roller coaster train going off the rails. We've heard all kinds of problems about Calypso, and that's just because it's local. If you lived in the vicinity of Wonderland, you would probably hear issues about the accidents that happen there.
So we're going to talk about this. We do have to take a commercial break, Brenda, but if you have some questions that you want to get in, please send us the questions. Give us a call live on the air, 789-6559, extension 2803. We'll be here for 2 more segments, and we're looking to take your questions. We're back after this.